Well, it's not looking too good for Aquaman, so.
No, and I want to talk about that while I've got you here, too. Because we're not going long tonight. Like I mentioned, Tom, before you came in, and when I started the show, I'd let everybody know, and you already know this, but we're going to kind of have a short night, and then we're gonna toss everybody up over to Flashcast. I'm going to take a little break after this, and then I'm going to try to go hang on Flashcast for a little bit, provided my body is willing to keep going. Because this is the first day I've really done anything.
Yeah, and of course this happens right around the time that the proxy war heats up too.
I know. Well,
so that's perfect timing, right?
That's why I need to get my rest, because I've got to get ready to address a lot of this stuff that's coming up. But yeah, I mean, here we are. Let's look at Wonka first real quick, because this is 177 million, but that's not really accurate. That domestic figure, that international box office, that has not been updated since Sunday last week, the last time we were on the air here. So yeah, the international figures, that will update again tomorrow.
That's looking good for this movie going into the weekend then, because that means it'll probably come out of the other end of this weekend profitable, or in the black anyway.
Yeah, and you got to remember last weekend, like it had just opened the other 50% of its markets last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's a big, big thing. The only market I think that's still outstanding is Korea, I believe. Korea.
Then again, it might have fallen off a cliff, because I was reading here, they're claiming Aquaman took the #1 spot, and it only did 13.7 million, so that's not boding too well.
Well, it took the #1 spot, but if Wonka's only $1 million or $2 million behind it, well then, I mean...
Yeah, but yeah, you got to hope it has some more legs beyond this weekend then.
I think Wonka has more leg capacity than Aquaman does. Just that's my gut tells me. And again, it's that musical aspect. I've seen that too many times. Unless a musical comes out and it's just total trash. I don't think Wonka is. I haven't watched it yet, so all reality thrown out there. But look, if you look at Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, let me show you this, Tom. Here's the reality of it, though. It's not as big of a discrepancy as you think, because that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom includes $4 million from the night before. So when you really start pulling this apart, and you look at what did Aquaman do? I mean, this movie did $4.5 million. So of the 13.7 Friday recorded, take out 4.5. You're now down at 9.2 million. Yeah, so a real Friday of 9.2 against 6.5.
So you're right, it is just barely beating Wonka then, yeah.
Yeah, it's not really
Wonka's
fun.
still in more theaters too, or is that just because it was the preview the night before? That's weird.
No, it's actually still on more screens. I mean, and that's what's scary, is that you got Aquaman on 3,700. I don't think that I think Warner Brothers knew kind of going in, look, we don't want to get carried away, because if we overbook, we're only shooting ourselves in the foot, right? Theaters and distributors, they negotiate how many screens you want. There's prices involved in how many screens you want, negotiating things back and forth. And I feel like, given the Christmas holiday week and other things out there, look, you got migration, and I think that's part of it, is that they couldn't give Aquaman... I think theaters knew coming in this weekend that Wonka was still going to be a very strong contender. There was going to be more family audiences that probably wanted to go see this. Aquaman was going to be probably very front-loaded, and we're going to find out that it is. And because it's probably a crap movie. I mean, this is the last vestige of the Walter Hamada era, is it not?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that, if this one is one that he greenlit or if Zaslav did, but we're getting to that point where, yeah, we're going to be switching over here.
Well, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, I mean, that was mostly done.
Well, that was definitely Hamada, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm talking, I thought you meant Wonka. I'm not sure on that one.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Aquaman, no. Yeah. Walter Hamada, DC. Aquaman was definitely...
Yeah, Aquaman was shot back in 1983.
Pretty much. Yeah. And I mean, they had to do reshoots, just like they tried to do with The Flash, that didn't work out. And I don't think it's going to work out here either. I just think that's a dead brand. It's a brand that may not have ever been alive anyway.
They're admitting that right now with the Aquaman thing, that this is it. Even Peter Safran said, yeah, this is kind of... And this is where I was saying with some of the people that are, because the funny thing is not to dig in any knives out, but with some of the Snyder crowd boycotting this movie. Now, some people are boycotting it over Amber Heard, but you've got people in the Snyder crowd that are boycotting it too. And it's like, this was it, guys. This was your last chance to like hang on to any kind of vestige of the Snyderverse. And that's it. It's gone now. And I know as far as they're concerned, this isn't the Snyderverse, but it kind of is at the same time. Like any chance to save this started with Black Adam, went out the door with Shazam. Flash really kind of sent the signal home. And this is it. We're done. They're not even going to try anymore.
No.
So.
And they shouldn't. I mean, look, and realistically, would this movie have probably done, I mean, markedly better had it been released, say, over the summer or something like that? Yes. But they couldn't, or they didn't, or for whatever reason, they wanted to get it out, put it on the Christmas frame. This is not a movie that is going to generate a Christmas audience. And again, all deference to Spider-Man, because that's the only movie out there that can pull it off in the superhero genre. If you're going to put a superhero movie on Christmas week, it had better be Spider-Man, because that's it. And this is just another one of these things that, apart from DC having completely collapsed anyway, and that was a big part of it, but this just didn't work. I mean, people would rather go see, family audiences would rather go see Wonka or something. I don't know how much the Amber Heard thing really played into a factor here. I think, honestly, most people have completely forgotten who the hell Amber Heard even is. I mean, the normies out there, people like us, people watching this channel, I get it. But in terms of just the normal Joe average citizen out there, I don't think people really care or remember who Amber Heard is. I think most people have kind of checked out and moved on from that.
I'm sure it did. Well, and I see what you're saying, but I think
I'm not saying it's not a factor. It's just not
because Amber
Heard
was also trending right alongside.
Yeah.
Side to cancel Aquaman and all that stuff. So yeah.
Well, but again, you got a lot of normies out there that they're not on Twitter and they're not following trend lines on social media.
They're not. And this is what I was saying with like Flash, like because a lot of people said, "Well, do you think that Ezra Miller had anything to do with Flash?" I said, "Yeah, I think it had a little bit more than we anticipated it would." And if nobody knows who Ezra Miller is, I think the bigger problem here is everybody knows who Amber Heard is. Like I've said, you ask 10 people on the street who's Ezra Miller. Maybe 1 out of 2 maybe 2 out of 10 might know who he is. But you ask who Amber Heard is, all of them are going to know who they are. And the answers you're going to get back are not even going to be that great, right? You're going to be like, oh, that bitch. Like, yeah, exactly. So like, yeah, I don't know. I think it may have had a bigger effect than we think.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.